take just to go
We back with Lil
class
Jeff,
start
man.
next week.
He don't stop.
You gotta at least have two bodies though.
Hear that? That's not just rap talk. That was Lil Jeff, live and unfiltered, setting the entrance requirements for his so-called killing school. From openly bragging about bodies in his diss track FTO to mocking fallen rivals with zero remorse, his reputation as one of the most ruthless figures in the streets only grew. This was a man who turned violence into entertainment, laughing about real-life murders on Instagram like it was just another joke. And if that wasn't enough, he took it a step further, gunning down two high school students and still finding a way to joke about it online. Cold-blooded, unfiltered, absolutely savage. These are Lil Jeff's most savage
stupid
moments.
Hell you talking about? Look, this is
murders. Lil Gutta in a targeted hit.
This is 10 times Lil Jeff caught bodies on camera. Do your homework. Y'all know I call him the Joker because he always smiling, but he keep catching bodies. Like, you got to be crazy.
Lil Jeff lived by one rule: strike first and make it brutal. Of all the things he did, this was among the most ruthless. A broad daylight execution, carried out without hesitation. No mask, no fear. Just a clear message to the streets. If you cross Lil Jeff, there's no warning, just bullets. This guy was not the type to let things slide. When someone from his side got killed, he made sure there was payback. And on May 13th, 2021, he did exactly that. It was a regular afternoon near East 79th Street in Chicago. The streets were busy. Cars rolled by, people stood around talking, and shops had customers going in and out. Nobody knew that a killing was about to happen. Lil Jeff had been watching Lil Gutta, real name Ronnie L. Sistrunk Jr.
Oh, he been watching him.
Gutta was moving like he had no enemies, walking through the city without a care. But his name had already been linked to Crew's murder a month earlier, and that was a serious problem.
Do your homework. Do your homework on your name linked to a body, and you walking around like it's chicken.
Whether Gutta had actually been involved didn't matter. What mattered was that Jeff believed he was. Jeff waited for the right moment. He wasn't the type to rush things. Gutta had just come out of a store, checking his phone, completely unaware of what was coming. Jeff moved in quickly. No words, no warnings. Bang! The first shot hit Gutta in the chest. His body jerked, and his phone fell from his hand. Before he could react, another shot, then another. Each one meant to make sure he wasn't getting back up. People screamed, some ducked, others ran. Jeff didn't stick around. He walked off, blending into the crowd like nothing had happened. By the time police arrived, Gutta was already dead. Witnesses had seen what happened, but no one was willing to talk. The streets knew who was responsible, but no one wanted to be next. A daytime hit was already a moment that had the streets whispering. But Jeff didn't just stop there. He took his savagery to the mic and turned 7 bodies into lyrics. Boasts about killing 7 people in FTO. The drill scene had always been filled with bold lyrics and street talk, but in March 2024, a song dropped that had people questioning whether the words were just music or real confessions. The track was called FTO.
My question is, why would anybody ever be friends with this nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, I know that they said Lil Scoom, it was a rumor that Lil Scoom is the one who left the school and then changed clothes, came back, and unalived them 2 people at the school downtown. I don't know how true that is. But, like, I'm just thinking, like, I would never hang out with Bloodhound Lil Jeff because if he catching bodies like they say at Q50 and they all catching bodies like they say, they gonna come smoke me. Do your homework. Bruh. They gonna come smoke me just because I'm cool with you.
And as soon as it hit the streets, it became one of the most talked about songs that year. Lil Jeff and Vert had been teasing the release for weeks. When it finally dropped, the energy was violent, raw, and reckless. The lyrics had no filter. Jeff rapped about taking 7 lives, bragging like it was just another achievement. The way he delivered it was too specific, too detailed, making people wonder if he had really done everything he claimed. But one part of the song stood out more than anything else. Jeff called out Leal by name, mocking his death with the line, "Leal dumb in a pack, we smoke him." It wasn't just a disrespectful line, it was a direct celebration of someone's murder. That was not the only part that got people talking. Another verse mentioned how his old friends, whom he used to be cool with, have now become his ops. He also mentioned how his crew had shot so much on Rhodes Avenue that their enemies had to shut down their drug spots.
Oh my
If
God.
true, this meant his side had not just taken lives,
How old was he when he caught his first body? Do anybody know? Do anybody know? And look at these pictures, y'all. I just want y'all to pay attention to these pictures. Lil Jeff is gone, unalived. Q50 hanging on by a thread. I think J. Bin Laden, I think he cool. Folks locked up for a body that he would have got locked up for if he was still alive. So it's only 2 people out and free right now. It's Q50 and Bin Laden. Out of the 4 people right here, like.
Also taking over entire trap operations, forcing their
Y'all be
rivals
tweaking,
to leave
gang.
the area. The song spread fast. It was played in cars, blasted at parties, and debated in drill forums. People argued about whether Jeff's claims were exaggerated or if he had really dropped 7 bodies. No matter what the truth was, one thing was clear. Jeff had no fear of what he said or who heard it. His reputation for self-snitching was already growing, but FTO...
I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make in your life. Freecash.com is a website that allows you to literally get paid hundreds of dollars just for playing video games on your phone. All you need is an email and a password. Follow the directions on each of the campaigns and you can earn at least $100. My personal favorite game to play was Sunrise Island, and when I clicked on it, they had a $370 bonus. I got $370 just for playing a video game on my phone. On average, it only takes about 17 minutes for most people to start earning money on freecash.com. So if you need some free, easy, extra money, go to freecash.com, click the QR code right here, or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
Took it to another level. Now, was Jeff exaggerating his numbers?
No.
Or was he really keeping score?
I think
that
he was
question
keeping
didn't
score,
last
bro.
long, because his next moment made it clear that when Jeff rapped about murder, it wasn't fiction. Gets revenge for Z-Money by killing Lil Pooh.
Oh my
Lil
God.
Jeff had been waiting for the right time, and when the moment came, he made sure it was merciless. Z-Money's death had left a wound that only blood could close. And in March 2023, Jeff set his sights on Lil Pooh. Pooh, real name Pierre Boozer Jr., had been moving around. Like nothing had changed. He still showed up in familiar places, still laughed with his people, still acted as if his name
Wait, hold
wasn't...
on.
He still showed up
Is this the real Bloodhound Lil Jeff liking this picture?
in familiar places, still laughed with his people, still acted as if his name wasn't being whispered in the streets.
Right.
But Jeff had already decided that Pooh wasn't going to see the summer. The plan was set in motion days before. Jeff didn't move sloppy. He didn't just roll up and start shooting. Instead, he let Pooh's own routine work against him. He sent word through mutuals, spreading talk that a certain block was safe again, knowing Pooh would hear it. Pooh took the bait, showing up like nothing was wrong. That night, the trap was set. Pooh pulled into the driveway of his home, the place he always returned to after a long day. He stepped out of his car, nodding at someone he recognized. The night was quiet, with only the distant hum of the city in the background. Everything seemed normal. Then the lights in the lot flickered. A small moment, barely noticeable. But in that second of distraction, a figure moved out of the shadows. The first shot hit Pooh's leg. He dropped to the ground, grabbing his knee, trying to crawl toward his home. He didn't make it. More shots followed, fast and unrelenting. The last one hit him in the back of the head, leaving him face down on the pavement. A car engine roared, tires screeched, and the shooter was gone. Witnesses stood frozen, and when the police arrived, nobody had seen a thing, but the streets knew. A year later, Jeff made sure the message was clear when he left a comment on an Instagram post about Pooh, confirming the motive. Disrespecting Z-Money came with consequences. Then came the leaked song, days before Jeff's own death. He rapped about hiding in the grass, waiting to strike, describing the exact way Pooh had been caught. After taking out Lil Pooh,
crazy, bro. He was really trying to be King Von, gang. He was catching bodies and he was being real subtle, but like he was really telling you like this exactly how I look. I stayed in the grass and I waited for him. Like if you put 2 and 2 together, gang, he really telling you how he catching all these bodies. So he's like the Joker. Do your homework.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He like the Joker.
we got him.
He blowing niggas up and then talking about it, folks.
most would have laid low. But Jeff, he wasn't done proving himself. His next moment came fast, and this time bullets were flying from a moving car. Orders a drive-by on Black. Lil Jeff had made a lot of enemies, and when things got serious, he did not hesitate to remove them. In March 2022, the streets started buzzing about a drive-by shooting in Chatham. The target was Roger Lewis, known as Black, a 33-year-old OG who had been well respected in his area. Black had been standing outside his house that evening. He was talking with someone, not paying attention to the street, unaware that a car had been rolling by slowly. The people inside were watching him closely, waiting for the right moment. The driver kept steady, and the backseat window was slightly open. As the car crept closer, there was a brief pause. Then the sound of rapid gunfire filled the air. Black barely had time to react. He tried to turn, but bullets had already ripped through him. His body dropped near the sidewalk as the car sped off, disappearing down the street before anyone could get a good look at it. The neighborhood fell silent for a moment. A few people ducked inside their houses. Others peeked out, already knowing there was nothing they could do. By the time the police arrived, Black was gone. A month later, a man named Trayvon Dix was arrested in Connecticut.
I heard that a lot though. That this how I be saying Lil Jeff was really a ruthless as the Joker. He was the Joker. Bro, this man catching bodies, and 99% of the time, bro, his ops don't even make it to the hospital. They don't even make it to the ambulance. Most of the time, from all the bodies that I heard that Lil Jeff caught, bro, his ops was gone before the ambulance even got there, bro. Do your homework. And that go to show you, and I'm not trying to say like it's a good thing. I'm just saying that goes to show you how fucking crazy and wicked he was, because he wasn't playing. He wasn't just blicking up blocks and doing all that so he can get some more street cred. He was coming to unalive you, and he was not leaving until you were not breathing no more. Every single time, damn near.
Connection to the shooting. But even after his arrest, people kept talking. Many believed Jeff had ordered the hit. The tension between his crew and Black's people had been getting worse, and this felt like a move to settle things. Jeff never addressed the rumors, but he did what he always did. He let his music do the talking. A few weeks later, he dropped a song with lyrics that made people wonder. He mentioned how some older guys think they run things until they get caught standing outside at the wrong time. A drive-by was already a wild moment, but Jeff had a habit of outdoing himself. When two bodies dropped on the same night, the streets knew. This wasn't just war, it was domination. Orchestrates a double murder. Lil Jeff had been involved in a lot of street violence, but November 1st, 2023 stood out as one of his most ruthless moments.
He was catching bodies for that long? When did he catch his first body, bro? How old? Because when he passed away, he was like 19, 20. He had like 11 bodies. Do you understand how fucking wicked this is? They need to make a fucking TV show about this little boy.
Do your homework. Many believed was a planned execution. The targets were Denardo Buford, known as Lil Deuce, and Desiree McGee, known as D-Money. The two friends had been sitting in a parked car on South Dorchester Avenue, probably thinking it was just another night. They might have been talking, scrolling through their phones, or just passing time. They had no idea they were being watched. A black SUV had been circling the area. It passed by once, then again, moving slowly.
They should have got up out of that
car made any sudden moves. They were waiting for the right moment. Then it happened. The SUV stopped a few feet away. The doors swung open, and before anyone could react, gunmen stepped out and opened fire. Glass shattered. Bullets ripped through metal and flesh. Little Deuce and D-Money never had a chance to escape. The attack was over in seconds, but the damage was done. By the time the shooters got back into the SUV and sped off, both victims were critically wounded. They were rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but it was too late. Neither of them survived. The police arrived quickly, finding multiple shell casings scattered around the scene. But as always, no one was willing to talk. The case remained open, and no charges were ever filed against Jeff. Still, the streets had their own way of confirming things. In March 2024, Jeff posted a cryptic Instagram story. It was simple, just a few emojis, but people knew what it meant. The message seemed to be a list of names, and one of them was clearly linked to D-Money's murder. You'd think after a double murder, Jeff would want to keep quiet, but no. His next moment was in the studio.
He get louder. Every time he catch a body, he get louder. I ain't never seen it.
His victims with details only the killer could know. Admits to murder in his song, Ahhh. By early 2024, Lil Jeff's name was already tied to countless street rumors. But when he dropped Ahhh in February, the conversation took a turn. It wasn't just another drill track full of threats and tough talk. This one felt like a confession. The beat was dark, the flow was aggressive, but it was the lyrics that made people stop and listen. In one chilling line, Jeff described a victim screaming before taking his last breath. The way he rapped it, like he was reliving the moment, made people immediately connect it to the murders of Monty and Lil Rob. For those who remembered how the two were killed, the details
walked
were too...
in, lids for 2 hats, really stepping in blood. Niggas know how I get. This don't even rhyme. He not even rapping. He just on that bitch talking like, I'm just want to get on here and tell everybody about the bodies I caught. You feel? He not even rapping.
To ignore. Monty had been left gasping for air on the sidewalk, and Lil Rob's final moments were eerily similar to what Jeff was rapping about. Within hours of its release, the internet caught fire. Reddit threads were filled with people breaking down the lyrics and matching them to real-life events. Drill forums argued over whether Jeff was bragging or setting himself up for trouble. Some fans defended him, saying he was just telling a story, but others believed he had done what many rappers before him had been accused of, self-snitching in the booth. This wasn't the first time Jeff had been suspected of putting real murders into his songs, but Ahhh took things to another level. It wasn't just about who got hit or where it happened. This time, it was about how they died, they said in their last seconds, and how Jeff felt watching it happen. He never responded to the accusations. He never clarified the meaning, but he didn't have to. The damage was already done. Rapping about bodies is one thing, but saying it lived, that's a moment only someone who truly doesn't fear death would create. And Jeff, he laughed while updating his body count. Updates his body count to 10 on Instagram Live.
God. He updating his body count to 10 like he's updating his damn Facebook profile to single.
He on Instagram felt different on the night of May 13th, 2024. Thousands of people were tuned in, waiting to see what Lil Jeff would say next. He sat in front of the camera, relaxed, flipping through a thick stack of money. His wrist shined every time he moved, the diamonds on his Rolex catching the light. The comment section moved so fast it was impossible to keep up.
You don't got
As
10,
the live
bro.
went
Stop
on,
the
the
cap.
conversation took a dark turn. Jeff started talking about the streets, about the people he had lost, and the ones who had lost their lives.
These niggas will kill anybody when they get emotional. Stay safe. All my innocent people, these niggas lost their mind for real. You know what's crazy? People can say whatever they want to say about Lil Jeff, bro. I ain't heard about him hitting nobody innocent. Do your homework on that. You know what I'm saying? As crazy as it get and as stupid as, the streets is and all that, folk. I be thinking like when somebody go to Iraq and catch 35 bodies, gang, and they come back, they get applauded. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the same way y'all applaud them, and I've been saying this for years, the same way y'all applaud them, that's the same way that Lil Jeff homies feel about him. You feel what I'm saying? Like, gang, you taking out all these people that's trying to take us out every other day. You know what I'm saying? You at a war right now. You risking your life every day. You stepping for us, really. Just like how a soldier go to another country and step for America. He stepped for me. He stepped for you. He stepped for her. He stepped for him. You know what I'm saying? But as crazy as it is, though, bro, unless I'm wrong, you feel me? I might be wrong. But I ain't heard about no innocent that got hit up with Lil Jeff, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard about no innocent man or him just outside. He ain't go to no school and blick up no school and all that. He ain't go on no block and just wet nobody whole crib up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It seemed like he was taking out his ops, which is how the streets go. And as stupid as the streets is, that's the streets, though. You feel me? It's crazy. I just wish he had that same energy and did it for music or just something positive, folk, that would have changed his life and everybody around him instead of getting soaked up into the streets like he was.
Him. With a smirk, he leaned back and made a statement that shook everyone watching. The comment section exploded. Some fans hyped him up, while others were shocked. His enemies, whether they were watching or someone sent them the clip later, had all the information they needed. He made it clear that the body count had gone up. Next to him, Q50, a close associate, added his own numbers, fueling even more speculation. If anyone thought Jeff was exaggerating, hearing Q50 confirm his own count only made it more believable. The live continued with Jeff taunting his rivals, daring them to respond. He laughed as he fanned out his money, showing no concern for what he had just admitted. It didn't take long for the clip to spread. Reddit forums, drill pages, and even
it's them drip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He got it down his neck. Go for my brother. LOL, do the math. If you know, you know. If you don't, F you. And then he put all them dead. I ain't never seen this. This crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He got 10 dead emojis, 10 tears going down his damn.
Enforcement were all talking
That's
about
crazy.
it. People debated if he was being serious or if it was all for attention. But those who knew how the streets worked believed every word. This moment made him a bigger target, not just for the police, but for the people he had been calling out. It was one thing to move in silence, but going on live and saying it out loud, that was something else. If claiming 10 bodies wasn't insane enough, Jeff's next moment had people shaking their heads. Not only did he kill, but he demanded the same from anyone who wanted to roll with him. Brags about his killing school requirement. In early February 2024, Lil Jeff's Instagram post had the city talking. He said he was going to start a killing school, and the requirement was a minimum of 2 bodies.
I'm taking just a killing school. Class start next week. You gotta at least have 2 bodies though. For I ain't coming with no. If you ain't got I can't work with no beginners.
But that's not all. The post started with a message about his enemies,
crazy,
accusing
bro.
them of taking out innocent people instead of handling real street business. It was a direct shot at those who had been speaking on his name. But what really caught people's attention was the photo that came with it. Jeff had a fresh tattoo, 10 teardrops inked onto his skin. The streets already understood what that meant. Each teardrop was a body, a life taken. Some people even speculated that 2 of them were for Lil Rob and Monty, 2 names connected to past murders. As if that wasn't enough, he lined up a series of emojis in the caption, carefully placed in a way that seemed to match 10 victims. The message was clear, but not direct enough to be a confession. Jeff knew how to say a lot without saying too much.
Something.
posts a cryptic message listing his victims. Lil Jeff was known for stirring controversy, but in April 2024, he took things to another level. Instead of making a direct statement, he dropped a post that had the whole city talking. The post contained lyrics from an unreleased King Von song, but what really caught people's attention was what came after. Below the lyrics, Jeff added 10 emojis. At first, it looked random, but the streets quickly started putting the pieces together. One emoji stood out more than
It's
the
the
rest.
hats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do he got the 2 graduation hats for the 2 people he unalived at school, bro? Do he got the one? What does it mean? The woman's hat worn by a woman for sun protection. So do he got that for the one female he got? And what do the three blue caps mean? One, the big red hat. I think the two graduation hats is the people he unalived at that school. That's what I think. And maybe the one right there, the red one, maybe that's like the one that made it to the hospital and died later or something. I don't know.
A woman's hat. It did not take long for fans to link it to D-Money, a known name in street circles. People believed it was a coded reference to his female nickname, a slick way of saying he was responsible for the murder without actually saying it. The conversation spread fast. Was this a body count? Was he listing his victims? Some thought it was a way to taunt his enemies. Others called it another case of self-snitching, something Jeff had already been accused of multiple times. Despite the backlash, Jeff refused to take the post down. He never explained its meaning, never corrected the speculation. Instead, he let people argue and debate, watching as his name spread even further. Nobody knew if the emojis really represented lives lost, but one thing was clear. Jeff wanted people to keep guessing, and he made sure they never stopped talking. Some killers leave evidence behind by accident. Jeff, he turned it into a moment. Flaunting stolen watches and bloodied hands, he wasn't just sending a message, he was mocking the dead. Taunts ops with stolen watches and bloody hands. Social media had always been a tool for Lil Jeff, but in early 2024, he used it to send a message that had everyone watching. This time, it wasn't a song, a cryptic caption, or a live stream. It was a set of pictures that spoke louder than words.
About this.
The first image showed 2 expensive watches, both sitting on his wrist. The brands were easy to recognize, the kind of jewelry that only a few people in the city could afford. But it wasn't about the price. It was about who they belonged to. Word spread fast that they had been stolen from 6,300 Breado.
That's crazy, bro. I think that's what kicked off the beef with them.
For the world to see, making sure Breado and his people felt the disrespect. The second image was even worse. His hands were covered in blood. Nobody needed an explanation. The meaning was clear. He was claiming to have done something violent, something that took him to a different level in the streets. Whether it was a real confession or just a way to boost his image, the message was the same. He wanted his enemies to know he wasn't done. People immediately connected this to something deeper. Months earlier, Jeff had been robbed by BKN members, an incident that had been laughed about on social.
So wait, Jeff got robbed? Is that what he just said?
The message was the same. He wanted his enemies to know he wasn't done. People immediately connected this to something deeper. Months earlier, Jeff had been robbed by BKN members.
Oh, so Jeff got robbed a few months earlier.
An incident that had been laughed about on social media. Some saw this as his way of getting revenge, letting them know he had taken something back. The pictures fueled the fire between him and his rivals, making it clear that the situation was far from over. It wasn't just about the stolen watches. It was about power, and Jeff wanted everyone to know he was still in control. If there was ever a moment that showed Jeff was living without limits, it was this. Sniffing perks on camera, slurring words, laughing about murder. He wasn't hiding anything anymore. Sniffs Percocet during an interview.
I ain't gonna lie, Lil Jeff ass is crazy, bro. And I don't even, I know they say he got robbed and shit like that, but I don't even know, I don't think I ever heard of nobody actually sliding on him. Has Lil Jeff ever caught a bullet? You know what I'm saying? He got unalived on a drill, and some self-defense type shit. But I don't know if anybody ever went outside looking for him. Sometimes when people be doing shit like that, bro, people really be scared of you. You know what I'm saying? Even though you not bulletproof, some people will really be scared of you. So I don't know. But I mean, obviously he not gonna get on Instagram and talk about who blinked at him. He only gonna talk about the bodies he caught. But unfortunately, like I always say, man, no matter how tough you is, no matter how raw them songs is, no matter how many bodies you got for it, don't make you bulletproof. You still human like everybody else. So, I mean, rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to everybody that lost their life, boy. But y'all better stop tweaking. Do your homework, skate.